Hey everyone, my name is Cameron Caffrey and welcome back to what I like to call the Cozy Corner here on YouTube, where we like to discuss everything about film photography as well as film and cameras in general. I hope you guys have been well. Does the room look a bit different to you? Is the angle a bit wider? Is the quality better? Today is a special day on this channel because it is the first time I'm shooting a video on my brand new camera. I'm currently shooting on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is a lot smaller compared to my previous Canon 760D. Wait, let me actually show you how you lot look like. Boom. So sexy, let's go. On top of that, I don't have to record my audio externally anymore, which is a massive time saver. Look at this mic. Bruv, look, I can go all the way back here and you can still hear me. I'm chilling next to the fan and it's like I'm right next to you. That's mad. So much room for activities. Overall, I see the setup to be a lot more efficient and practical, so expect a lot more uploads to come on this channel. Today's video is a tutorial on how to replace your light seals on your film camera. This is something that I feel like every film photographer just has to go through. It's inevitable. You're going to have to change your light seals, especially with film cameras being relatively old. Like the majority of our film cameras that we shoot on were most likely released in the 60s or 80s, so it's going to require a lot of maintenance and upkeep throughout the years. Today I'm going to walk you guys through how I replaced the light seals on my Canon A1 film camera, which I believe was released in the early to like mid 80s. And if you guys have watched my videos, then you would see, especially during my Hong Kong trip, this camera definitely needed a light seal replacement, and I've just been putting it off ever since I bought it. All right, let's stop waffling and get into it. Firstly, what are light seals? It's in the name itself. It essentially seals your film camera from light. And of course you want to do that because film is light sensitive. What light seals are in particular is essentially just adhesive foam. It's foam that's a sticker. This foam is thick enough to keep the light out all of the little crevices of your film camera. And you can think of it like the foam trying to soundproof a recording booth, except in this case, it's for light. Now, what are the materials that you're going to need? Before even starting, you're going to want to make sure that you have replacement foam, aka adhesive foam, or even a pre-cut kit. In today's day and age, you can get this anywhere online. Like for example, I got mine on Shopee, which is basically the Filipino Amazon, and it only cost me 225 pesos. I would refrain from just taking a trip to your local arts and crafts store and finding some sticky foam, because it's best to buy this foam from a brand that specifically makes it for film cameras. For example, the one I bought was from this brand called how do I say that? House Stunter, we'll just say that. The House Stunter high density light blocking sponge film camera, medium large format camera light seal replacement foam. Say that 10 times over. Additionally, you're going to need some rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm using this local Filipino brand alcohol here. I don't think it's isopropyl alcohol, but it says that it eliminates 99.9% of germs, which is good enough for me. You're also going to want some cotton swabs or cotton buds and a wooden toothpick / bamboo skewer. Just make sure that's wood and not metal. Cool, you have everything you need. Now the first step is to essentially remove the old seals on your film camera. As I mentioned, our film cameras are relatively old, so somebody had the light seals installed in your film camera before you were the owner, and that most likely eroded throughout the years. And how that looks like, as you can see here, is just a bunch of gunk. Like, it's essentially just eroded foam, and over time it just becomes like this little, I don't know how to explain it, like just gunk, and it kind of just gets all sticky and it stains your clothes and your fingers over time. And what you want to do first is to make sure that you remove all of the existing or old seals from your film camera. So you want to open the camera back and use the wooden stick or toothpick to scrape out the degraded, sticky old foam from the door channels and hinge. For my case in particular, it made a lot of sense why my film photos from Hong Kong had a lot of light leaks. There was pretty much like no foam left. It was almost nothing left there. Sure, I got some mess and gunk out, but there was hardly anything left. I had to clean a lot more with my previous film cameras. Real quick, I do want to mention that light leaks in film photos in particular can be like a stylistic choice. You know, it's the natural light leak and it just shows that your photos were taken on film. A lot of my photos from Hong Kong do look very cool because of that light leak, but I'm kinda over it now, and I feel like I just need to look after that film camera a lot more, and it was time for that repair. It's very important that you remove the old light seals properly and in detail, because you don't want any of that gunk to be in your shutter curtains or any other parts of your film camera, so really make sure that you clean it thoroughly. Next up, you want to clean the channels. So dip a cotton swab or bud in rubbing alcohol and run it through the channels to clean out the remaining residue until the metal is completely clean. You might have to do this a few times, mainly because the old seals can be very stubborn and it just doesn't want to come off. The way I like to describe it is it's kind of like doing the dishes with a brand new glass and you just can't seem to scrub off that sticker. And it's the same here with the old seals. You want to really just scrub it down with your cotton swab or cotton bud and the isopropyl alcohol and just go over it and over it again until, like I mentioned, there's nothing but the metal left. To finish this cleaning process off and to make sure that you got all of the old seals and gunk out, you can use some sort of cleaning kit brush or blower to make sure there's no particles or residue left. Awesome, your film camera is clean and completely stripped down of its old light seals. Now it's time to install your new light seals. I'm not gonna lie, over here on my notes it says measuring and cutting, and basically saying if using the sheet, measure the channel width and cut thin strips for a new foam using a ruler and sharp blade. I didn't do that. I'm a neat person, I do things in a very particular way, and one of those things is just not measuring. I'm not gonna measure, man. We don't have time for that. So what I did was the classic move of just measuring it out with your fingers like this. And that's also how I cook my rice. I just measure it with a line on my finger. I want to be clear though, don't do that. Don't be like me. If you want to be neat and do this the proper way, use a ruler. So yeah, I guesstimated with my fingers, and then what I essentially do is I cut off the excess, or I just basically add on. Now once you've got your accurately or not accurately cut strip of foam, it's time to install your new light seals. You want to peel the adhesive backing just like a sticker. Now as a pro tip, moisten the adhesive with a drop of alcohol to buy yourself time to slide it into place before it gets sticky. I didn't do that. Press the new foam gently into the channels using your wooden tool or toothpick, and don't forget the door hinge seal. Now you might find yourself installing it and then taking it off again and installing it just to make sure that it fits perfectly. You want to try your best to make sure that the light seals aren't twisted as you're pressing them down, because it just naturally does that. You might want to untuck and retuck it in with your toothpick, but it's just like a trial and error process. I'd say it's quite tricky to do like a 100% clean and neat light seal installation. As long as it does its job, it's cool. Now last but not least, the final check. Close the camera back, ensure it latches properly and feels firm but doesn't require excessive force to close. Now you're going to feel a lot more resistance this first time of closing your camera back because your light seals are fresh and they're thick and you as well as your camera aren't used to it. But it's completely normal. As long as you feel like you're not forcing it, go ahead and close the camera back. You see this? It just lays there instead of actually closing. It's mainly because these two seals here are very fresh, but over time that's going to flatten. It's actually quite satisfying when you close it and then you press it down and you can feel that that traction there. What I like to do initially is just keep it closed for about a few minutes, a minute or two, and then I would open it up again, close it, and open it up again. And the reason I do this is to make sure that none of the new light seals are coming off. So as long as that's not happening, you're good. If it does happen, then just try to reinstall it again, but this time really press down. Once you can confirm that your light seals are in place, then congrats, you just successfully replaced the light seals in your film camera. It wasn't really that hard, was it? I think it's just a tedious process that can easily overwhelm people, but I promise you it's not that hard. Congrats, you can go outside now and test a fresh roll of film during a bright and sunny day, and hopefully you won't have any light leaks. Thank you very much for watching and joining me today in this cozy corner of YouTube. It really does mean a lot. Please make sure to subscribe because we are very close to 1,000 subscribers. It would mean a lot to me to hit that milestone, and please make sure to like this video, as liking this video tells YouTube that this channel is worth pushing out to new audiences. Bruv, I beg you, subscribe. It would mean a lot. Bye-bye.